Hello, and welcome to another deck tech. Today I have my first deck of Tarkir, a Jeskai Revelation Jeskai control. Yes, it uses the word Jeskai twice, but I've been testing a couple decks trying to make Jeskai Revelation work. This is the first one I've found that's done pretty well. I'm 8 and 2 so far, getting my rank points back just a little bit. And without further ado, let's get into the deck. Imported deck 13. Yes, it was actually made by a viewer and friend, Okie Scoop. He is a very talented brewer, especially with mana bases. He is excellent with mana bases. But it was his idea to add the Chandra, and really that's what brought the whole deck together. So we have our standard control package. As you can see, we have counter spells, we have removal, we have some sweepers. But the unique thing about this deck, and the way we win at quite a few games actually, is Chandra, who, whenever we cast our first instant or sorcery spell each turn, she copies it. So we can play Chandra, maybe copy a Lightning Helix or get lost, clear the board, and then hit it with a nice double Jeskai Revelation, returning 2 permanents to their owner's hand, dealing 4 damage twice, creating 4 monks, drawing 4 cards, and gaining 8 life. Now, of course, even if you play this card not doubled, returning a spell or permanent to its owner's hand, yes, this includes lands, this includes spells on the stack, it just does everything. Kills something, makes creatures, draws cards, gains life. This is a very cruel ultimatum-esque card. It does everything you ever wanted to and more, but it's a bit pricey and it's got a lot of colors on it, so we gotta find the right deck for it. As far as that's really what we've got for new cards. We're playing nice Jeskai control. We've got Ride's End for removal. We've got Lightning Helix. Yes, this is the card. Sorry, I have altar art. I really like this altar art. We've got Torch the Tower, so we've got 11 plus Get Lost, but I hate this card. 13 2-mana removal spells, allowing us to effectively take care of any aggro deck. We have a good chunk of life gain, allowing us to keep our life total nice and healthy until Screaming Nemesis inevitably ruins our day. We have a few counter spells, not too many because of how aggressive the meta is, but 3 steps, a great spell. Change the equation, it's great against red. It also stops links. And No More Lies, one of my favorites. This is not only helpful against Domain, but it's actually very helpful against Esper Pixie. Countering Storm Chaser's talent or Hopeless Nightmare just throws a wrench into their entire plan. They just don't know what to do. Past that, we of course, have the ever beautiful Stock Up. 3 mana, look at the top 5, put 2 of them into our hand and the rest onto the bottom. This is how we look for our win cons. This is how we get our value. Speaking of value, we have Beza. 2 copies of Beza the Bounding Spring. A 4 mana 4/5 which gains life, makes treasures, makes fish, and draws cards. Or should I say and or draws cards depending on the situation. But what an excellent card Beza was. Used to be great in mid-range decks too, and I'm glad to see it coming back in, these controller lists. We of course have a nice sweeper package, 2-Day Judgment at 4 and Sunfall at 5. Why do we split it? Well, there are times where you need Day of Judgment, there are times where you need Sunfall. Sometimes the 1 mana cheaper is relevant, sometimes the Exile and Incubate is relevant. So we got a nice little split here so we don't just get, bogged down by 3 Sunfalls or 3 Day of Judgments in hand when we need the other. And right at the top end, we of course have Chandra, Hope's Beacon. I think a semi-forgotten Planeswalker. She's kind of been pushed to the wayside, but she's 6 mana, 5 loyalty. She's got 3 abilities and a passive. Copies our first instant or sorcery spell every turn. Adds mana. Her +1, which I use surprisingly frequently, is to exile the top 5 and allows us to cast a single instant or sorcery from among those cards. So I oftentimes play her and just +1 looking for a Jeskai Revelation or stock up to be played next turn. And of course, -X deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets. Yes, this does hit face. You can use it to close out games. And right at the top, a Jeskai Revelation. So, to put the deck into perspective, it is a pretty standard control deck. The only difference is we don't have mill. All the control decks recently have been Jace, they've been Doomsday Excruciator, they've been something like that, but we have Chandra, we have Jeskai Revelation, we have Lightning Helix. I win most of my games by my opponent conceding. When you lock the game down with this deck, you really do lock the game down, but the Prowess Monks, they give good beats. Jeskai Revelation does a lot of damage. Lightning Helix does a lot of damage. Chandra does a lot of damage. So, it's a control deck, but it's a burn deck, where every point of damage adds up over the course of the game, and then, end of turn, Jeskai Revelation, untap, Revelation again. That's 8 damage, you're dead. So, play control, play burn, do it all at once. For our mana base, we have some basics. Demo Field's been running around. There's a new dragon in Tarkir, which also destroys non-basics and allows its controller to tutor a land, so we're playing a little bit on the safe side. And then what I'm using is a Verge plus Surveillant mana base. This was actually done by Okiscoop, except for the Anchorage. So, well, we have a single pan land, but this was actually done with a mana calculator to, give us reasonable mana a lot of the time. But we have a painless mana base with a good chunk of Surveillance, a good chunk of Verges, and a few utility lands on top of 2 Mystic Monasteries. So the mana's nothing to write home about, but we usually go tap land turn 1, a Verge turn 2, start playing our spells from there. It's a nice mana base, and it is a 26 land mana base because our win con is, of course, 7 mana. Onto the sideboard, we have, right at the top, our 4th copy of Torch the Tower, great against mice, 3 copies of Exorcise. I brought these in because I actually lost to a Riverchurn Monument opponent, and I got sad, so these are in over Destroy Evil. But, you bring these in against Domain, you bring these in against other Riverchurn players, you bring these in against... There's actually been a lot of Caretaker's control recently, but this comes in for that. Great card. I actually bring this in against Demons. If it's an Annex deck, this takes care of Shelly, this takes care of the Annex, this takes care of whatever you need it to. So it's a surprisingly useful card, despite looking a bit narrow. 3 Rest in Peace. A classic. We are a big goofy control deck. We don't want to get caught sitting around waiting to do stuff, and some graveyard combo deck ruins our day, so 3 Rest in Peace. It's a necessary evil. 2 Temporary Lockdown. It's for mice. It is for Esper Pixie. I hate to play it, but you need it. It just slows them down to let us survive, to play our Beza, to play our other sweepers, to play our stock ups. So it's for mice, it's for Pixie, it's for token decks, which are also back on the rise now that the new Mardu set effect is making tokens. So, hey, it's got some new utility. I got a couple negates. Everybody's favorite. Bring it in for combo decks, bring it in for Domain. I bring it in for Pixie decks because of how crippling it is to get hit with a counterspell when you're playing those. And yeah, other control decks too. Another very useful card. Unfortunately, I can't bring myself to play it main deck, but I'm really tempted. 3 Riverchurn Monuments. I initially forgot these, but they're great against any up the beanstalk deck. Loses to Riverchurn Monument. You're actually going to see in one of the games of the video, I bring in Riverchurn Monument against Orzhov Pixie because it is a 2 mana win con that they can't deal with. So if they're going to sit there and make me discard my hand, I can just mill them to death. So I think it's better than Jace. Based on limited testing, it feels better than Jace. It's harder to deal with because it dodges get lost. It's Down on the board quicker, so you get it under counter spells. It provides a much more consistent mill. So I love this card. It's a 3 of, plus it's only a rare. If you had to craft this or Jace, Jace is a mythic. This one's only a rare. And then another Beza. Right at the bottom. Third Beza comes in against aggro decks, comes in against token decks. Basically, if you're bringing in Temporary Lockdown, if you're bringing in Torch the Tower, you're bringing in the extra Beza. Just a wonderful card. I love to see my horse. And with that said, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and if you're going to play this deck yourself, good luck, and I hope you enjoy it. Goodbye. Hello, and welcome to the first game. We are starting out on the draw. Our opponent has already taken a mulligan. We have every color, we have untapped lands, we have removal and a counterspell. Does not get much better than this. So we're going to keep it, and hope it keeps being this good. Up against... Up the Beanstalk. I actually made a mistake here. One that didn't matter, because they had Cavern, but I should have held up the No More Lies. If they top-decked Beanstalk, it could have answered it. Alright. Surveil that one to the grave. We are a bit of a land-heavy deck. So, we do sometimes just have these pockets of land. No, that one's not going to happen. That one is definitely not going to happen. Well, when else fails, get in with the Anchorage. Yes, a control deck attacking on turn 4 with Restless Anchorage. Probably not something you see every day. Sir, alright. We can answer it. Do I want to answer the Sir right here, right now? I think I do. Or do I? I definitely do. Like, Chandra's great, but... she doesn't exactly clear everything because Zur gives hexproof. Plus, Chandra is not all too likely to live very long. Probably just gonna play her, get some sort of spell, and she's gonna either get losted or leyline bound. I actually fairly frequently just play Chandra and plus digging for something. She usually hits because we have, I mean, most of the deck is hits for her. Oh no. Seems we're getting Zerd part 2. It is a pretty good feeling playing against Zur when you're not an aggro deck and your opponent can actually hit you with a Zur draw and you don't instantly lose. So that's a good feeling. Let's dig. I don't think I can say no to 2 Revelations. Get rid of all their board. And now we try to win. Simple as. Don't need to take care of that. I can bounce their token, take care of it forever, deal damage to that. And then I'm actually... Well, I was going to say single block, try to bait out removal, but this is just a better answer. Although I can single block, and all of them have priority. And if they want to waste a Get Lost or a Ride's End, I can actually sacrifice the token, get a Scry, and still kill the Overlord. Don't need a land. And now we basically just, every turn, if they play something, we Jeskai Revelation it back to their hand. If they don't play something, we bounce a land. Nothing to do about that one. Yeah, that one's gonna happen. Unfortunate. If they actually tap, yeah, they're down. if they ever somehow manage to tap every single one of their lands, we can free Chandra for a double Revelation turn. But it doesn't look like that one's gonna happen. How much mana do I have? I could Chandra. Yes. I could Chandra, get a prowess trigger, plus Chandra, rise and kill Beza. It feels good. I know I'm kind of throwing away value because she typically just eats to get lost, but I like being the beatdown here. I have about one turn to top deck up the beanstalk before I just end up killing them. So I'm going to force the issue and not let them kill a monk. Actually, how much damage is this? That looks like lethal to me. This is the kind of lethal I don't count. I just sort of believe that it's going to all come together. And it did all. It's also lethal by bringing the binding, freeing Chandra. I am very surprised we won game 1. If you end up playing this matchup as a Revelation deck or any sort of control deck, you are probably going to lose to up the beanstalk. It is an absolutely abysmal matchup game 1. Worked out in our favor this time. But game 2 it gets a lot better. It gets a lot better. We have mill, we have more ways to answer enchantments. I'll take the Sunfall out. So for this matchup, I like to cut all the cheap removal. Lightning Helix does have some value because it can deal face damage, but it's not that much. Side-ins, we obviously bring the mill. It is our easiest win con. We bring the counter spells. It stops up the beanstalk. Maybe a weird doppelgang. It stops analyze the pollen late game. Stops their removal spells. We bring in Exorcise, of course. Answers up the beanstalk, answers Independent Overlord, answers Leyline Binding. And then we just run it back. The biggest thing, now that we're sideboarded, is Riverchurn Monument is our win con. We can mill them out. And unless they're playing... They actually do typically play maybe 1 or 2 copies of Terra Sunder, but they have limited ways to answer it. So they typically have to use Leyline Binding, which we can destroy with either Get Lost or Exorcise. So we're going to, if we draw one of those 2 cards, we're going to see if we can hold it as long as possible to protect our Riverchurns. If we don't, then no point. I play the Anchorage here instead of the Surveil land, not because I expect to crew it, but because I like to surveil as late as possible. You want to have as much information as possible when you're making a top-of-the-deck decisions. Unfortunate, but we did get a Negate out of the way. Alright, I'll play it now. Set up for the 5 mana, 3 steps. A land is not the worst draw, but not the best draw, but it's good enough to keep. That one's not gonna happen. No Beza for you. If Beza wasn't going to draw a card, I probably would not have countered it. But giving them a redraw and a creature is a bit intimidating. I'm just gonna sit here. I keep playing lands, they don't. If we're just playing land, go magic. I'm feeling good. Unfortunate. I could draw 2. Discard 1 here. But I'm not going to do that either. Okay, if I just play another Overlord, I will use 3 steps to draw 2 discard. Oh, they play that. That one is not going to happen. Any protection? No. I guess I keep waiting. No more Overlords means we're kind of just sitting here. I'll pass through one more time. We can bounce the Everywhere to destroy it. So that's what I'll do. Get rid of you, hit you in the face. Hope there's no second negate. They usually only play 1 or 2, depending on their list. Riverchurn is great, but I'm kind of feeling like the beatdown right here. I'm kind of feeling like the one who attacks. I'm just gonna keep pushing damage. Riverchurn can come out as a backup win con if we don't end up killing them in the next turn or 2. To the land. Sure. Pick up a land, hit him in the face. Depending what I draw. Do I have lethal? No, I'd need a burn spell. It feels terrible to waste Ride's End like this, but I like to hold up Exorcise. When I say wasted, I mean do it full mana instead of playing Stock Up or Riverchurn. We're not really being mana efficient. And when we're this far ahead, really the only way they could come back is if I sit here for several turns and don't do anything. And then they draw like land up the beanstalk.
Enough talking. Let's do this.
I will put them to 2. Now they have to deal with 2 lethal attackers throw a counterspell. And even if they somehow manage to do that, which they don't, we have Anchorages next turn. So yeah, that was a bit of a weird match, but that is a domain matchup. Hello, and welcome to the second match, this time on the play. We have another great hand. We have mana, we have removal, we have a counterspell, and we have everybody's favorite elemental horse, Beza. Oh, mice, gross. Oh, not mice. Well, it is still mice, but it's not 100% mice. This would be... This is Leyline. When you see Cacophony Scamp, it means Leyline. I play this now knowing I'd set myself up to die to 3 pump spells next turn, but that is a risk I'm willing to take. I'm going to surveil here because I want to find something. Any removal spell is a good removal spell. Now, the only nice thing about them being Leyline and not mice is they don't typically play Screaming Nemesis, which as a control deck is our absolute nightmare. We have answers, we have Ride's End, we have counterspells, we have Get Lost, but if we have kind of a weird hand, it can sometimes be hard to deal with. Or if we're trying to do something like this turn where we just play Beza. Alright. I'd leave myself potentially dead if they have a bunch of combat tricks. They don't. Perfect. So, now that we have 2 removal spells, I'm basically just going to sit back forever. They're probably going to try to set up a turn where they can play 2 pump spells to beat through our removal, but we have 2 removal spells, so that's where we get them. If they kill Beza, I'm just going to make a new one. They're just going to keep playing mice. That's, it's not something you see every day. Ooh, they're really flooding out. Oh, I sure could use a Sunfall right about now. But even then, it's not too panicky. Even if they start swinging out every turn, we can just patiently block, take some damage. It's very different playing against these red aggro decks compared to if you're a returning player. You wanted to keep your life total as high as possible against the red aggro decks. But this is prowess. This isn't a burn deck where you're going to get to 6 and they're going to top deck 2 lightning bolts. They're either killing you from 20 with, you know, with 7 power double striker, or they're not killing you at all. Yes, I could have activated the archipelago. I got distracted by my own talking. But no worries. We can just keep sitting. So they have one extra mouse for us to deal with. But they are totally blocked out by Beza. I didn't play Day of Judgment since then I'd have no Beza. And Beza, in this situation, blocks their entire board. Alrighty. It's kind of weird that they're playing out the lands. Kind of seems like they might be a bit annoyed with their draws. That they're not hitting anything good. So they're just playing out those lands to show me that look how unlucky they are. I'm gonna block the Scamp. I'll put the Anchorage in front of the Scamp, because if I put it in front of a double striker, they could stack the Scamp, killing my Anchorage, and that's just a bit annoying. As always, it's not that big a deal, but it is a bit annoying. A kick to burst Lightning on Beza. That is going to be a no from me. We get some nice blocks. Nice deck. It saddens me that there's no way to say thank you. So... Alright, heart. And now we just keep sitting around. Have I played any new cards? No, I played exactly Beza, a single removal spell and a single counter spell. Alright, mouse player. Let's keep going. Also, Burst Lightning. That is not something you typically see out of the Leyline version. Leyline version players are not usually playing anything other than pump spells and maybe a questing druid, depending on the version. Well, now since I put it on the manifold, I'm going to do this. And again, nothing they do matters, because I have the removal. Alright, I'm going to start attacking. They no longer have any sort of threatening board. Hey, back up, Beza. Swing. And we sit. And we swing and we sit. Please don't suicide the Emberheart Challenger. Ah, they're gonna do it. If they want to take themselves off board completely, I will let them, as always. Losing the Anchorage sucks real bad, but I mean they're gonna have no creatures. And now they need both a creature and a pump spell to even remotely think about playing the game again. Get the Anchorage going. And out of a sign of severe disrespect, I'm going to use the map token. I'm not even going to hold up Get Lost, because there is nothing they can do to me. Alright. Oh, they are Screaming Nemesis. That was unexpected. I'm just gonna kill him. I'm the beatdown here. In situations like these, where it's just so absurdly over, I mean, I just win the game. But if this board was a bit closer, it is very important to note that whether or not you are the beatdown, whether you are the player who wins by controlling the game, or the player who wins by attacking. In which case, we are the control deck, but we have successfully controlled the game to the point where we get to be the beatdown. We don't have to care about anything they do. Stock sideboarding. Beza. Obviously, great choice. Torch the tower, cheap removal, and both lockdowns. For this matchup, it's always a bit of a toss-up. If they're what looks to be a very, very aggressive version, and not a version playing like Innkeeper's Talent or Paw Patch Recruit, these bigger, slower cards, I like to cut counterspells. So I'm going to cut counterspells and Chandra. Chandra is just a bit too pricey, and she doesn't even deal with a Screaming Nemesis too effectively. So she's going to be out of here. Alright, on the draw with a very obviously unkeepable 7. We're going to get a 6. We're missing the second white, but we do have a Torch the Tower to keep us going for a little bit. And if we aren't drawing our white source, hopefully we're going to be drawing something. Something to do. Why do I kill the Hard Claw here instead of waiting for maybe like a Emberheart Challenger? It's because it's the same amount of damage. It's just 2 versus 2. And if they swing with it, I have to take it. I can't kill it and gamble that there's no monstrous rage. So I'd rather take the slightly losing gamble of killing it there as opposed to the very losing gamble of dying to monstrous rage. I could keep normalized, but it's not going to be useful for a couple more turns. And I'm just taking damage here. Not much I can do. I don't really have anything. I think that puts us dead, right? Not this turn, but next turn to the Soulstone? No, it's gonna put us to 1. Alright. Alright, good beats, opponent. Just take you off the board. And then, let's hope we draw some life gain before we inevitably get hit in the face one more time. Or live a little bit. So, excuse me? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +3/+1 until end of turn. That is questionable. I don't see how that made it in the deck. Like, it's a common, but you're playing red. You could just play another Burst Lightning. I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're going to be... How do they understand combat phases and yet play Crackling Cyclops? Interesting. Well, we lost a mono red on the play. Can't be too upset about that one. That is what happens. Alright, let's get a good hand for the draw. For us being on the play. Oh, it's the same hand. But this time we're on the play. Again, it is a bit of a gamble, but we have good removal. So, again, if we draw lands, we hope they're white. If we don't draw lands, well, we've got things to do. We got the mana, we got our blue. We got blue, we got red. We're just a little bit short on white. Alright, they're thinking. Hopefully that means they're either keeping a slow 7 or they're going to a 6. It's really interesting comparing, again, the modern red aggro we have in Standard to old burn decks, where old burn decks really had like this critical mass. You know, you gotta play 7 lightning bolts, and 7 lightning bolts wins the game. But now it's like, oh well, they just play Hardfire Hero and Manifold Mouse. It doesn't matter if they have 7 cards or 5 cards, because you're dead. So, it feels much more like a combo deck than anything else to me. Definitely Rise Ending that. That is too much damage. Not gonna gamble on hitting a white source. I'll stock up here. Obviously, this feels terrible if they have Emberheart Challenger, but what can we do about it? I'm going to take the guaranteed white. I would love the Day of Judgment. I don't know why I'm saying I would. I do like the Day of Judgment. I have been detected as a YouTuber. I have been detected. But yeah, let's hope there's no Screaming Nemesis. If there is a Screaming Nemesis, I don't even know if we can kill it. Or if we just have to suck it up for a turn or 2. There's the Hardfire, there's the buff. 1 mana card, by the way. Let's take 6. We'll play our white. I suppose I'll answer the Manifold Mouse now. As always, I would love to get big value out of the temporary lockdown, but I can't gamble with my life like that. Because even if they don't play another card and they just village, double strike, that's going to be 8 damage. Sure thing. Well, I think we got this locked down. We're not going to take the extra 3 off Heartfire. And we are getting close to the Jeskai Revelation win con. Oh, Beza. Beza will be for next turn. Let's just take care of the very, very threatening mice. Elegant Parlor being our 7th land. I don't think I can say no. I think having the guaranteed Jeskai Revelation on 7 is too important. Oh, there it is. Everybody's least favorite red card. Coming in to maybe end our life. I'd love to play Beza, but I think Beza could kill us. Sunfall, not at this point. Alright, we can play Day of Judgment. It looks like we're getting Burst Lightninged on the Nemesis, taking us off of healing. What a lovely Hearthstone card that is. Oh. That was unexpected. Okay. The opponent is just chock full of surprises, aren't they? They play the straight up mouse draw and then Felonious Rage and Cacophony Scamp out of nowhere. How do we do this? So we could wait. We could also not wait, which I'm not upset by either. Just don't put us in like a really weird situation where they're sitting on a Burst Lightning that they want to do 4 damage, and if they top deck Lightning Strike, that's going to be 5 damage, and we die with our Revelation on the stack. I'm killing the Scamp. This card is too scary for me. This card is too scary. Too easily buff it and just kill us. Well, let's Chump City, I suppose. No need to take some damage. I'm trying not to take damage here, so Beza could... So Beza has the opportunity to block, and I don't take 1,000,000 damage. Okay, Ride's End is huge. Because if I took the damage, I went to 6. Only back up at 10. They force me to take 4. And if they have anything following it up, it could just be too much. Is that the... Oh, that is the 4th Heartfire. The mice are here in force. In force? Either way, there's a lot of them. What do they swing? Would push a lot of damage. Don't need a basic plains. And I have enough mana for everything. So I'll do this. I'm going to hold up No More Lies for Sunspine Links, considering it would do 8 damage to us. So this is the designated take care of Sunspine Links before it kills us card for the rest of the game. Another nice thing about not taking 3 damage. If they just buff one of the mice and swing through, it's at a minimum of 6 guaranteed if we didn't have the removal. There's a Scamp. Nice little Scamp. Another buff on the Heartfire. Are we going to use the map token on Beza? Just to play around Witchstalker's Frenzy. Which I don't think we've seen, but we can make the assumption that they do have it. So it's something I'm going to play around. See what's on top before we make our next decision. Well, stock up's great now, isn't it? I can hold back. I doubt they can push through any meaningful damage even if I do attack, but since we have stock up, we know we're going to be getting our value anyway. I can just let it happen. Well, I sure wish I had that Sunfall, huh? Okay. Well, they've got 2 cards in hand. We've got 2 answers. Let's See what they can do with it. One and two. Maybe. Okay. So it actually blocked like this if I had nothing. Because of Monstrous Rage. Actually, no, this is wrong. I lied. I'd block like that if I was smart. Because the Valiant Trigger... If the Valiant Trigger hadn't already happened, this would be correct. Because of the trample and the extra damage. If you find yourself in a situation where you think you're going to be getting raged on Heartfire, you actually want to block the small one. Because the trample damage and the death trigger basically double strikes the excess. So you want to be a little bit careful. Obviously, I just misread what was happening, but hey, happens. I'll take lockdown. Enter the hero, and then we can start being the beatdown. We can both block with Anchorage and use the Rise End if it's something truly so scary. And I'm gonna push damage. Just in case, you know, Lynx is gonna show up eventually. If they have a land, draw another land and then Lynx. That could be problematic. So I'm just gonna take care of him before it can. Can I send both? I could, but I'll do that next turn. Kill this, I have no pump spells. It's 2-turn lethal regardless. The only reason I could have sent both is it sets up 2-turn lethal in the air. But they have no way of setting up 2 blockers through No More Lies. Alright, we got him. GG. Hello, and welcome to another match on the draw. We have a probably keepable hand because we are control. It's a bit land heavy, but we do have early game answers, and well, we just figured out all our problems. If I didn't pick up the stock up, I would have let on the surveillance, but now that we know what we want to do for the next couple turns, we're gonna lead on Monastery. Oh, it's Orzhov Pixie. That is disappointing. I was hoping for something fun. Against Orzhov Pixie, it's like regular Pixie, except you need to be careful not to die to the Overlords. I'm still gonna not let them nightmare me, but I do need to be a bit careful. Land. I'll ditch this one. I'm not exactly thinking too hard about my land pitches. Beza is amazing. And you can't go wrong with more lands against these sorts of decks. Well, you can go wrong. Oh, well. Oh, my. I'll just get lost. I think I'm setting myself up to either get to Jeskai Revelation, or in this case Chandra now, and win the game, or to not get there. I'm running out Beza probably a bit earlier than I should, since it's just a 4-5. But I was getting a bit concerned about my life total, so I want to set something up to make them do something that isn't just hit me in the face with a hopeless nightmare. They have mainlands. Oh, they're gonna... What? They're just gonna surveil? Is a tap land good enough? I think so. I think it's good enough. I like tap lands. It's kind of weird. Over activating the Soulstone to do more damage, they're gonna just play a 4-mana surveil too. What do they have? I'm probably countering it. I'm definitely countering it. Well, either counter it or I get my 3 steps discarded regardless. I play my land. If there's another land on top, it's a backup Chandra. I do like a backup Chandra. I am a fan. Now if they make me discard, I can pitch Chandra and not feel too bad. And if they play like a second Pixie or something, I can minus Chandra and then lose her to Soulstone. Again, not feeling too bad about it. Because I do think I'm winning through Jeskai Revelation, or not at all. Alright, Chandra. Time to show them what you can do. And what you can do is +1.
We have to win this fight.
I can't -2, because then she dies to Nurturing Pixie. Oh. And Soulstone. I already hate this card. I would like to mention this card has existed in Standard for a whole of about 18 hours, and I really, really hate it. There's no reason to have more copies of Nurturing Pixie. They have enough. Huh? Well, goodbye, backup Chandra. I'll miss you. My hit opponent is sweating in their britches. Alright, well. 2 mana. White and a red. I'm going to bounce this. Kill this. And then I'm going to... Okay, well, I don't even get to choose the second one. I would concede there too if I were them. So, Orzhov... I don't even want to call it Pixie. I think I'm going to call it Discard. Definitely want Torch. Definitely want Beza. Probably want Negate. Probably don't care too much about Ride's End. Probably don't care too much about my sweepers either. I definitely don't want to bring in Lockdown. It's too easy for them to just break it and re-trigger all their stuff. Yeah, I think I'm going to run with this. I have been tempted to put in Baloths, but until I see if Pixie, you know, becomes this 50% extraordinarily dominant deck, I'm not gonna go too crazy. The classic, I have 2 Verges and no way to activate them. Looks good to me. I got answers. Oof, activates the wrong Verge. I'll ditch. Torch the tower. Counterspells are huge in this matchup. And... let's think. I don't think it really matters, but maybe there's something I want to Lightning Helix. And playing the Archive's gonna turn Negate on regardless. Well, that is moderately to severely concerning. Not something I can deal with. What a lovely card, but I'm a little far away from casting it. I will take the double Helix to kill Lily. So I'll be discarding Jeskai Revelation here. And, you know, hopefully I draw into something before I die horribly. Yep, double Lightning Helix, and then we're top decking. I'm tempted to let them plus Lily, because that just turns off all their discard if I have no cards in hand. Kind of weird, no? But
You won't be outsmarting me.
if I don't have cards, how can they make me discard? Checkmate. I'm not even gonna kill her.
I really don't have time for you.
Not even gonna kill her. Alright, don't need that. You know, it's times like these where I do miss not having Shiko in the deck. Shiko just doing a thing would be great. I let Lily live, but I don't think I mind her being at 1 too much.
Don't overthink.
When I'm just sort of playing all my cards out of hand every turn. Oh, they've got a questionable discard. So they're good, yeah. Yeah, they're getting down to the cards they don't want to discard. Where they both get lost? Well now I don't want to discard that one. Boo. Boo. Alright. Alright, well, now I'm the one getting punished. I was so excited for a second, but not anymore. Oh well.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Sometimes you just get lilied. I like to think about what it would have been like to get lilied back when she was printed in like 2012. Back when people were living in the past, you know? I think I'm just gonna pretend they don't make me discard Chandra, as delusional as that may sound.
Fine.
I like the concept of having a card that wins. Yeah. I've got a bit too much discard. I think they're 4 Momentum Breaker. Okay. Oh, another Lily. Nothing like sitting and waiting, huh? Waiting to either die or draw a win con, right? Nope. Not now. Not today. One last draw. Hopefully it's, I don't know, maybe Sunfall? Maybe I do bring back Sunfall.
Happy to help, but
I totally shouldn't.
when we win.
Maybe I'll bring back Ryzen, though. Yeah, it looks just like 4 Lily, 4 Breaker, 4 Hopeless Nightmare. They're gonna make me discard. I kind of want Riverchurn. I don't know what they do about it. Like, they don't kill me very fast. So, what if I just play a 2-mana win con? Like, they're making me discard all my big ones. Can't exactly make me discard a 2-drop, though. Hello. Hello, Riverchurn. You are looking good today. You are looking very beautiful today. Hello, Chandra. You're looking almost as good as Riverchurn. Not quite as good as the Froggy Monument. I'll hold up Negate for a turn. Or 2. Look at a fresh Froggy Monument. I do expose myself to Liliana, but this turns off bounce effects. Alright, get 'em, Froggy time. See, now if I play Lily and turn this into a nobody has any cards game, I do have Frog Monument.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Discarding this because I'm gonna stock up Activate Monument next turn. Oh yeah, fill your graveyard, opponent. Do the work for me. Not a bad draw either. Oh yeah. Oh, it's all coming together. I'll take Beza too, I think. Uh-huh. I love it when a plan works. Exactly as I drew it up. I'm going to be discarding Chandra.
You won't be outside.
Sure, maybe I messed up by not holding up Negate for Lily, but hey. We all make mistakes. Oh, and earn Daring Innocence. So, I can mill. They have 11 cards. Mill 13. Double it up to 26. And then that's game. That is game. In 3 turns. Not doing much else. I may have to blast Lily if they try to make me discard, because I can't get Lily ulted here. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. It's still a 2-turn win, I think, because they are drawing multiple cards a turn. Well, chat, when they make you discard your big expensive win cons, just do it with the cheap ones. Do it with a frog monument. Alright. Milam. This isn't sorcery speed, is it? No, it's not. Good. So... yeah, that's more than enough if they discard. Because 13, 26, and they're going to mill 41 cards. Uh-huh. Doing this all now because I can. And, good game, opponent. Frog Monument claims another victim. I hate this card. I have played against the Frog Monument one too many times already. It causes problems. If you've made it to this part in the video, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and I hope you enjoy the deck. A couple of closing points on what I think there's to note about this deck. Of course, with any deck in this game, you need to be prepared for the meta. And I want you to be prepared if the meta changes, if a new standout deck comes around, if you find yourself playing against a lot of Garul mice, a lot of mono red mice, a lot of aggro decks, you should be putting more emphasis into cheap removal. You could be bringing in Split Up, you could be playing another Beza, you could play Day of Judgments over Sunfall, but you're going to want to bring the curve down. That's how you're going to beat him. If you find yourself playing against a lot of Domain, a lot of other control decks, then Riverchurn Monument is going to be your go-to. Riverchurn Monument and counter spells. It's a bit hard to play Riverchurn main deck, but you could always go up on No More Lies, up on Change the Equation, up on 3 steps. It is how you will adapt for the meta, and trim a bit on the removal. Because remember, we do have 13 single target removal spells. If it's tokens, of course, if Mardu becomes the really big deck and everybody's just playing all these flood the board Mardu tokens, go heavier on sweepers. Maybe mainboard temporary lockdown, maybe mainboard split up. Have a way to adapt your deck. If it's just control, slogs forever and ever, but not up the beanstalk. The only way to beat up the beanstalk is through mill. Can't beat that card's broken. Think about more utility lands. It'll hurt the mana base, but you could throw a Fountain Port in here. You could throw in one of the new cards even. Steel Monastery, which I don't even own a copy of. But Quarry Mountain Monastery exiles a top card, lets you play it. You could bring in Demolition Field to fight against other people trying to do this strategy. But, of course, I always recommend if you're going to play a deck, really learn the deck, learn what the cards do, what the matchups are good for, what matchups are bad, and adjust the deck according to the meta you see. Maybe the time of day you play as a certain meta, maybe your rank impacts it. If you're going to take this to paper, your local meta is going to change this. So, I'm telling you this now to just always be prepared to change your own deck. With that said, those are my closing remarks. Goodbye. I hope you have a great day or night. Toodles.